Thanks for staying tuned, tracking the big story this hour of Congress, the ex-Congress leader Ghulam Nabi Azad, who's resigned from all positions in the Congress, including the primary membership of the Congress. A lot of reactions as well coming in. In fact, Omar Abdullah, who's just tweeted saying that long rumor to be in the offing, but a body blow to the Congress nonetheless, perhaps the senior-most leader to quit the party in recent times. His resignation letter makes for very painful reading. It's sad and quite scary to see the grand old party of India implode. That's a tweet that has been put out by Omar saying that the letter that has been penned by Ghulam Nabi Azad is in fact very painful to read, but also paints a very sad and quite scary picture. That's the tweet in which Abdullah has cited how these concerns that were earlier addressed by Ghulam Nabi Azad were not heard, and going on to add that the letter that has been penned by Ghulam Nabi Azad to Sonia Gandhi is a very painful read, but at the same time it paints a very scary picture of the grand old party. So a lot of reactions coming in. Several leaders now saying that it was somewhat on the expected lines, given that Ghulam Nabi Azad had voiced his concerns earlier as well to the grand old party, but were not paid heed to by the Congress top brass. In fact, in this letter that he's addressed to Sonia Gandhi, where he has said that Congress has come to a point beyond repair. So clearly stating that how Congress is beyond any repair as we speak. A lot of concerns that have been addressed by Ghulam Nabi Azad in the past as well. In fact, in this letter that has been written by Ghulam Nabi Azad to Sonia Gandhi, where he has said that how G23 leaders have been sidelined and that Congress stands at a point of no return. We have our executive editor Niranjan also joining us. Niranjan, if you could read out those excerpts of the scathing letter that has been written by Ghulam Nabi Azad to Sonia Gandhi.
Telling you a little bit about the kind of reactions that are coming in, Samiksha. They shock across the country, and if you read the entire letter that Ghulam Nabi Azad has written, I think it's self-speaking and it's self-explanatory, something that most Congress leaders for several years have been complaining about, the inexperience of Rahul Gandhi and how senior leaders have been sidelined by the Congress party and its leadership. There is lack of transparency. There is no transparency. There is lack of collective decision-making. There is complete confusion on who leads the Congress party, who takes decision in the Congress party, and it's complete chaos. And look at the kind of reactions that are coming in. Back-to-back reactions, shock across the board, even in opposition ranks. Reading the letter, some allies calling the situation in the Congress extremely scary, saying that it's extremely scary that the Congress party is going down this path. And you look at someone like Rahul Gandhi, he's not even in the country. Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Vadra, all of them are outside the country. So God alone knows who is going to read that letter. Of course, they will read it digitally. But in India, there's no one here to address the situation, make a phone call. But it's already too late because Ghulam Nabi Azad has been speaking about it for years together. And, you know, page number 5, I'm just reading out some of the excerpts from his letter. In page number 5, he says, "You are aware that I had an extremely close personal relationship with your family from late Mrs. Indira Gandhi, late Sri Sanjay Gandhi onwards, including with your late husband. In that spirit, I also have great personal regard for your individual trials and tribulations, which would always continue. Some of my other colleagues and I will now persevere to perpetuate the ideals for which we have dedicated our entire adult lives are outside the formal fold of the Indian National Congress." So what is also the big breaking news update here is that he is announcing that he, along with a few other individuals, he says some of my other colleagues. So that's the big breaking news update. We'll try and get some reactions to this as well. He says some of my other colleagues and I will now persevere to perpetuate the ideals for which we have dedicated our entire adult lives outside the formal fold of the Indian National Congress. So he has announced, Ghulam Nabi Azad has announced a parallel party. Ghulam Nabi Azad hints at a new party. He says some of my other colleagues. Ghulam Nabi Azad hints at a new party. Let's get non-stop reactions to this, non-stop political reactions. We'll try and go across to some other Congress leaders as well. He says, for all the reasons mentioned above, especially that the Indian National Congress has, let me go across to Zenat. Zenat, he says, Some of my other colleagues and I will now persevere to perpetuate the ideals for which we have dedicated our entire adult lives. So he's hinting at a new party along with others from the Congress, perhaps from the G23, Zeenat. So it's going to get bigger. It's a big body blow for the Congress party, but it's going to only get worse, Zeenat.
See, as for it is a blow for the Congress party, but this also tells you that yes, the rumors that were on ground in Jammu and Kashmir for the last 6 to 7 months that Ghulam Nabi Azad will be floating its own party, this seems that the rumors will come true because he has resigned from all the posts of the Congress party. Ghulam Nabi Azad, somebody who has worked with Indira Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi, close man of Sonia Gandhi, and has been helping Rahul Gandhi even in his politics, but today he is pointing the figures to those people with whom he has rubbed his shoulders for more than 50 years. So it is a bigger setback for the Congress party, and it also tells you the internal politics and the status of Congress party as far as this is concerned. We are seeing also the way Ghulam Nabi Azad had been coming to the Jammu and Kashmir. He has been speaking to people, so there were rumors quite ripe for the last 6-7 months that he may float his party because he has been in touch with his own colleagues from the Congress party. Needs to be seen in the coming time when the elections will be announced in Jammu and Kashmir. Will Congress, leader of Jammu and Kashmir, Ghulam Nabi Azad...
Mr. Kavinder Gupta also on the phone line. Stay with me. Zeenat, getting in a lot of reactions. Mr. Gupta, this is a big body blow to the Congress party, but what's also interesting from the letter that we are making out here is that Ghulam Nabi Azad has hinted at more people within the Congress. Some of my other colleagues, he says, some of my other colleagues and I will now persevere to perpetuate the ideals for which we have dedicated our entire adult lives outside the formal fold of the Indian National Congress, which means he's going to float a new party. It's clear he's saying he's going to float a new party. Mr. Gupta, can you hear me? Mr. Gupta, are you there? Yes, Zeenat, coming back to you. Zeenat, how big a blow is it for the Congress party, Zeenat?
So, Niranjan, it's a big blow to the Congress party, but it is also going to raise the BP of the politicians of the Jammu and Kashmir, because before this, Ghulam Nabi Azad was nowhere in the race, but now since he has resigned from the Congress party officially, so he may float his own party, and his party will be a bigger challenge for the political leaders coming from the National Conference, PDP, or even the PC, People's Conference. So because the reach of Ghulam Nabi Azad has always been very vast, and if we see the tenure of Ghulam Nabi Azad when he was in alliance with PDP and he was the Chief Minister during Mufti Muhammad Said, his work was really appreciated by the people from the city and also from the rural areas. So Azad's once again an entry into the Jammu and Kashmir politics will be interesting to watch, but again he has targeted the Congress party, which is a setback, body blow we can say to the Congress heads, because he has exposed the Congress party he has exposed every layer of the Congress party.
Kevin Shergill, who recently quit the Congress party, is speaking on ANI Select. Let's cut across live. Let's cut across live, please.
Transformed from a formidable political party into a cozy club of PA security guards and darbaris who are nothing but mere cheerleaders who only work for themselves, neither for the party and neither for the people of India. It is tragic that on one hand, in front of the nation, a PR exercise in the name of Bharat Jodo is being launched, but in reality, this cabal is working within the Congress party on Congress Todo Abhiyan, pushing out, elbowing out all the well-meaning leaders who have nothing but goodwill for the Indian National Congress. I think this letter speaks loudly the sentiments of many thousands and lakhs of well-meaning Congress workers, well-meaning Congress leaders who are troubled by this Darwari culture.
But sir, how do you see what should be the role of the Congress leadership now? Because you are saying the youngsters like you and even the the stalwarts like Ghulam Nabi Azad are now leading the party. What should be the reaction and what should be the action from the Congress top leadership? Because earlier when these people raised the voice, they were called the G23 group and they were called the traitors also.
The top leadership of the Indian National Congress now will have a clear choice, or rather will have to make a clear choice, whether to ensure that Indian National Congress remains a political party, or whether it is now only a adda of these sycophants and darbaris. The truth of the matter is, people of India have the trust deficit between people of India and Indian National Congress is growing day by day. The fact is that it pains many young people like me, many senior people, many middle-aged people, that now Congress is being given on for management and franchise, and Congress का ठेका दे दिया है इन दरबारियों को.
कैसे देख, so how do you see what will be the setback for the, not even for the Congress, and for the Gandhis and for the opposition?
Firstly, it is a big setback. जो ये चिट्ठी आई है, एक बहुत बड़ा झटका है. जो जनता आज ये प्रश्न पूछ रही है देश की, जो भारतीय राष्ट्रीय कांग्रेस अपने ही लोगों को इकट्ठा नहीं कर सकती, अपने ही लोगों का विश्वास नहीं जीत सकती, वो देश की जनता का विश्वास कैसे जीतेगी? जो गुलाम नबी जी की चिट्ठी है वो एक जीता जागता सबूत है, इस बात का प्रमाण है कि कैसे भारतीय राष्ट्रीय कांग्रेस को एक मजबूत राजनीतिक दल से आज एक अड्डा बना दिया है दरबारियों का, सिक्योरिटी गार्ड का और ओएसडीज का. मुझे इस बात का दुख है कि आज कांग्रेस पार्टी को अगवा कर लिया गया है. जो तनख्वाह वाले तनख्वाही हैं, जो तनख्वाह के एम्प्लॉयज़ हैं, आज वो उन कार्यकर्ता पे, उन नेताओं पे भारी हो गए हैं जिन्होंने अपना खून पसीना भारतीय राष्ट्रीय कांग्रेस को दिया.
सर, वजह क्या लगती है आपको? उसके लिए जिम्मेदार आप किसे मानते हैं? सीधे तौर पे तो टॉप लीडरशिप ही आपकी जिम्मेदार है, जो इस तरीके से जो आप आरोप लगा रहे हैं, इस तरीके से वो हावी होने दे रहे हैं. तो क्या आंख बंद मूंद के बैठा है कांग्रेस का लीडरशिप, चाहे वो सीधी तौर पे मैं गांधी परिवार की बात करूं?
देखिए, कुछ तो मजबूरी होगी. मैं श्रीमती सोनिया गांधी का बहुत आदर सत्कार सम्मान करता हूं, पहले तो ये स्पष्ट कर दूं. दूसरा, आज के इतना देख के कितने और पार्टी चुनाव हारेगी, कितने और नेता छोड़ के जाएंगे, कितने औरों की जमानतें जब्त होंगी, कितने और राज्य चुनाव हारेंगे कि जो हुक्मरान हैं वो समझ जाएं कि कि हुक्मरान भी, कांग्रेस पार्टी भी आज इन दरबारियों की शिकार हो गई है. तो आज ये प्रश्न हमें भी चिंता कर रहा है कि क्या हुक्मरान, जो टॉप लीडरशिप है कांग्रेस की, क्या वो भी इन दरबारियों की शिकार है? क्या ऐसी मजबूरी है कि एक मंडली के लिए आज एक 100 साल से पुरानी, 125 साल से पुरानी पार्टी का भविष्य, वर्तमान सब कुछ दांव पे लगा दिया? वो क्या मजबूरी है, ये नहीं समझ आ रही.
You see the kind of words that he has used here. I'm reading out some of the words here. He says all senior leaders were sidelined. I'm just, he's used words like, after completely lambasting on page number 2 here, he says after entry of Sri Rahul Gandhi into politics, he says after entry of Sri Rahul Gandhi into politics, and particularly after January 2013 when he was appointed as vice president by you, the entire consultative mechanism which existed earlier was demolished by Rahul Gandhi. He says all senior experienced leaders were sidelined, new coterie of inexperienced sycophants started running the affairs of the Congress party. He says one of the most glaring examples of this immaturity was the tearing up of a government ordinance in the full glare of the media by Sri Rahul Gandhi. The said ordinance was incubated by the Congress core group, subsequently unanimously approved by the Union Cabinet, presided over by the Prime Minister, and duly approved even by the President of India. And he says this childish behavior completely subverted the authority of the Prime Minister and Government of India. And he also says this one single action more than anything else contributed significantly to the defeat of the UPA government in 2014. And that was the which was at the receiving end of a campaign of calumny, etc. He says, you may recall that after you took over as a Congress president, after dethroning Sri Sitaram Kesri, the Congress leadership had met for a brainstorming in Panchmari in October 1998. And he says, Subsequently, there was another such session in Simla in 2003, and then again in Jaipur in January 2013. And then he talks about how he tried to give ideas, and then he once again goes on to say, under your stewardship since 2014, subsequently that of Sri Rahul Gandhi, the Indian National Congress lost 2 Lok Sabha elections in a humiliating manner. It has lost 39 out of 49 assembly elections held between 2014 to 2022. The party only won 4 state elections, was able to get into a coalition situation in 6 instances. Unfortunately, today the Indian National Congress is ruling in only 2 states and in a very marginal coalition partner in 2 states. Since 2019 elections, situation in the party has only worsened. After Rahul Gandhi stepped down in a huff, and not before insulting all other senior party functionaries who have given their lives to the party in a meeting of the Extended Working Committee, you took over as the interim president, a position that you continue to hold even today for the past 3 years. Worse, still the remote control model. My God, look at the kind of words that he's using. He says there was a remote control model that demolished the institutional integrity of the UPA government, now got applied to the Indian National Congress, and while you are just a nominal figurehead, all the